Do you ever feel like you're just lost? Like you don't know where you are, but most importantly, like you don't know where you want to go. And definitely don't know how to get there. I used to feel that way all the time. But in the past couple of years, that all changed for me. And today, I'm gonna show you guys how you can take charge of your life and control your future too. The biggest reason I used to feel so lost and helpless was I looked at life as something that just happened to me. Good morning, everyone.
I don't think you'd believe how long I felt this way.
This morning, I actually woke up at like 6:30, fell back to sleep, and then woke up at 9, so here we are now. Even though I would go through the motions and try to do well in school and make some friends, ultimately, I felt like my life was going to run its course and I would just have to accept whatever it happened to offer me, whether I liked it or not. And when life was good, that wasn't so bad. But when I got really depressed or anxious, having this really passive mindset prevented me from finding the motivation that I needed to take control over my life and improve it. And when I noticed things about my life that I didn't like, maybe I felt dumb or lazy or not pretty enough, I felt powerless to change them, which only made me feel worse. I felt trapped somewhere I didn't want to be, and because I had spent so many years just letting things happen to me, I had no idea how to escape. That was until I realized that no matter how much time has passed, it was never too late to take charge of my life and turn it around. Every day is an opportunity to begin again and to make the most of the opportunities we're given and everything about our lives that we can control. So that's what I started to do.
I feel 100 degrees.
It turns out that when you start to think about it, even though there are a lot of things in life that we can't control, most of us have a lot more agency than we think we do at first. So the secret to feeling in control of ourselves and our futures is to focus on the aspect of our lives that we're capable of changing, while just accepting and letting go of everything else. What you making there?
I'm making crepe.
Nice.
My first time actually.
Wow.
It's actually not that bad, no?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It'll never do us any good to spend time worrying about everything that's out of our control. The only thing that will ever accomplish is distracting us from focusing on the things that we can control, which are the only ways we can improve our lives for the better. Over the long term, that's how we start to feel like we're making progress. We identify all of the opportunities we have to direct our lives in the direction we want it to go, and we focus all of our attention on making the most of them. And when we notice we're making progress, we only become more motivated to stick to our goals and live our lives with the confidence that we can actually achieve them. But when we spend all of our time feeling badly about everything that's out of reach, we create negative feedback loops where we only feel worse and worse about ourselves as the day and months go by, without us making any noticeable progress in our lives. So learning to just accept everything about ourselves that we can't change, no matter how much we don't like it, is the first step to regaining control over our lives. And really, there's just no need to focus on things we can't control because there's so much about ourselves that we actually can influence with enough discipline and good decision making. First, there are the obvious things that I talk about all the time, working on fitness, nutrition, self-care, and other healthy habits to help us build the foundation we need to work towards our goals. But there's even more than just that. We can do so much to make ourselves mentally stronger too, to become more disciplined and focused even on days where we don't have a lot of motivation. Something that can be really powerful is finding one thing that we really don't like doing, but that's really good for us, and working on doing it once a day no matter what. For me, that used to be running, but it can be really anything depending on who you are and what you don't like to do. The most important thing is to train yourself to overcome that voice in your head that says, I'm too tired, or I can't do this, or I don't want to get out of bed. Because no matter what your goals are, you're probably going to need a lot of discipline and work ethic to achieve them.
I know you feel the same as I do. No more playing, wishing, waiting. I was taking, baby.
Most of us are really good at making excuses and believing stories about ourselves and what we're capable of that aren't true until we actually believe them. We tell ourselves that we're too tired to get our work done, or not smart enough to pass an exam, or too lazy to work out. And because we believe them, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. So learning to push our boundaries enough to realize how capable we truly are is really important for gaining control over our lives. Make choices rather than excuses, and believe in your capacity to change for the better and create your dream life.
I don't always think about you, but
Over the years, the main way I found myself distracted from my goals and focus on what I can't control is through comparison to others and jealousy for what they have that I don't. And this is especially hard with social media when we're constantly exposed to curated and embellished versions of other people's lives that can easily make us feel like we're just not good enough, or trying as hard as we could, or as pretty as we have to be.
Like you, what makes me smile this way?
Good morning, everyone. It is currently 8 a.m. I woke up at around 7:30. I'm gonna post a short TikTok and reel this morning before I start work. But we just have to realize that what others are doing will always be outside of our control, and most important, that they can only affect us to the extent that we allow ourselves to focus on them. But even if we could control them, we shouldn't try to. Rather than trying to bring other people down, we should try to lift ourselves up by using others as guides and inspirations for our own lives. There's so much we can learn from others, and if we waste our time being jealous and envious of them, rather than looking to them for advice and inspiration, we're losing out on the opportunities we have to make our own lives better. There are always things that we can find in our lives to be grateful for, and if there are things that we see others have that we don't, the best thing to do is to look at our own life and find the opportunities we have to achieve them, rather than just being depressed about the fact that we don't have them already.
You get home late.
Next is to be explicit about our goals and the steps that we need to take to achieve them. Really take the time to reflect and think about what we want out of our lives, to translate that into realistic and achievable goals, and most importantly, think about the practical steps and ways to actually reach them.
Like I have, 'cause the last time we talked, didn't know how much to say. You said maybe.
What skills do you need? What do you need to learn? What do you need to work on about yourself? And how can you get all of those things? Setting realistic goals and knowing the steps you have to take is the best way you can feel in control of your future, and figuring all of that out can be hard, but you're going to have to do it at some point, and the sooner you do, the sooner you feel like your life is actually moving in the direction that you want it to, towards the success that you've always wanted. Above all, what I want you to remember is that mindset matters. There's so much about our lives that we can control, and taking charge starts with developing the right mindset no matter your goals. Know that you are capable of much more than you think you are, and the only way you can really find out your limits is to work hard enough to push past them. Together, let's take charge of our lives in order to control our futures, because our future needs us and depends upon our choices, while our past doesn't.
To say this much, I like it on this side of love. I like it on this side of love.
At the end of the day, the best investment that we can make will always be the investment we make in ourselves. So in the end, let's do our best. Your future self will thank you for it.
I say